Hello tout le monde, bienvenue sur l'épisode 2 de Chat avec Makena. Donc aujourd'hui, je vais discuter avec mon amie Hawa qui est à Vienne. Je ne vais pas dévoiler grand-chose pour le moment, j'attends juste qu'elle arrive, qu'elle se connecte et on va avoir une discussion, je pense, qui sera très intéressante. Donc voilà, on attend tout doucement que Hawa se connecte. Et juste pour la petite info, ce sera en anglais aujourd'hui, because why not? So get ready to practice your English a little bit. Mais j'espère que tout le monde va bien et que le confinement n'est pas trop difficile. Je pense qu'on s'habitue un peu tous de plus en plus. Et voilà, et Hawa est là. Ouh, Tina Turner in the place. Hi, Hawa. Welcome. Thank you for accepting to do this. And as I told people watching, we're going to do it in English today because why not? Yeah. We tend to talk about ourselves as international people, if I'm not mistaken. So, and we did, language studies and stuff. So this allows us also to practice a little bit.
Definitely.
Yeah, for me, it's also a little bit tricky because I'm much more used to writing English than speaking it. So it's actually a very, very good exercise. So, yeah, without further ado, can you please, because I didn't say anything about you, I just told them that you live in Vienna in Austria. And so I would just let you introduce yourself because I know that you're a very, very interesting person. And I'm sure that people will be really, really, really interested to hear all about who you are and what you do. So the floor is yours.
Thank you. So thank you, Misha. My name is Hawa Kebe. I come from Senegal. I was born in Senegal and I was raised in Côte d'Ivoire. So those two countries are very dear to my heart. And I'm currently living in Vienna, Austria for work. And I work for an international organization. And apart from that, I have so many interests, for example, promoting women. And I've created a platform that promotes women, talented women from Africa, but also from the diaspora, because this is like a topic that is close to my heart. And apart from that, I am a person who loves life. I'm blessed to have great friends, and you are one of them actually. So I'm very happy to be on your platform today. And yes, so I mean, in a nutshell, this is what I can say. But if you have other questions, I can expand on that, definitely.
Well, I'm very, very interesting to hear about your upbringing because it's a very interesting one. So you said you were born in Senegal, right? But you grew up in Ivory Coast. Maybe you didn't mention it, but I know it because I'm your friend. So.
You know so many stuff about me.
Yes.
It's very dangerous, by the way. So
I also want other people to know a little bit because I think it's quite interesting. So tell us a little bit about your upbringing, born in Senegal, but raised in Ivory Coast. Why is that? How did it come about? So
yeah, it's a very interesting question. And even for myself, for a long time, I had, how can I say that? It was very difficult for me to understand this part of identity in the sense that I grew up, I was born in Senegal, and with my dad's work, he had to move to Côte d'Ivoire, to Abidjan. So we moved in 91, and I really felt I was young. Back then I was 5 years old, but I could feel the change, like the change in country, the change of customs, and the environment was just different, and I could feel it. So for me, and I remember like when I was in primary school and I would I was speaking French with my other schoolmates, they would think like, oh, my accent is odd. Like, why is she speaking like this? She's weird, And as a child, I was like very upset about that. So I literally forced myself to take on an Ivorian accent.
Oh.
And now with time, I just, it became my own accent. So when I speak French, people can definitely know I was in Côte d'Ivoire.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because for a long time, and I could see this transition, and I always identified myself as a Senegalese. But when since I grew up in Côte d'Ivoire and with the melting pot and so on, I developed another identity, I believe. And when I came in touch with my other Senegalese friend, for example, who grew up in Senegal, only lived in Senegal, I could see the difference.
Okay.
And this is where like the reality hits me, like, because I was always like, yeah, I'm Senegalese. And I really like, because I feel like Senegal is cool anyways. So, Côte d'Ivoire too, but I was like, I like this dimension. And for me, I was very, and I had to accept the fact that my identity is made of different aspects, like the Senegalese one and the Ivorian one, definitely. And to add to that, my personal background, because my mom is also half Senegalese, half Niger, not Nigeria, Niger. She also has some Tuareg blood.
Yeah.
So, and she grew up in Burkina Faso. So even her, like, upbringing, she wasn't like a typical Senegalese. And I think that we, the children, could take on that. So this is why I believe I'm an open person and I like to deal with people in a very understanding way. Yeah, and I understand when people know that their identity is not made up of one entity. It's a mix of many things. And I think it's good to acknowledge that, especially for some of us who grew up in different backgrounds, who have like mixed parents. And I think it's good to acknowledge, because most of the time people like to stick to one thing because it's much easier to deal with it. I mean, as human beings, we have a brain and we want to categorize people. We want to deal with them in the fastest and easiest way, putting a label on them. And I think that identity is one of them. So to me, it was interesting to have this journey to just acknowledge that, okay, I'm an hybrid. Yeah. And with all the travels, the people I met who nurtured my journey, I really feel like I'm an hybrid African, and I like to describe myself as such.
Yeah, that's good, and it's actually very rich, to have been able to grow up with those different identities and to tap into different kind of worlds, learn different type of cultures, and I guess that enabled you to easily adapt when you decided to to move abroad. I think you moved for your studies, if I'm not mistaken. So. Can you tell us a little bit about how you came about that? How it happened?
You mean like coming to Vienna or coming to?
Well, I mean, getting to Vienna, but I guess there were many other things that happened to, to get to where you are today. So, yeah.
Definitely. And when you mentioned that my ability to adapt is very true, I believe that I'm a highly adaptable person. I think so. And for example, like one very funny story, once I was invited in, it was the Togolese community in Vienna.
Yeah.
No, Beninese community, sorry, like Beninese community. And I was in the party and I was really having a good time. And, I enjoyed the food, I enjoyed the music. So I was just doing as everybody else.
Yeah.
And people came to me like, oh, okay, so you're from Benin. I said, no, I'm not from Benin. Because they assume I like literally melted in the crowd in such a way that people would assume that I am Beninese, which I'm not. I mean, I wouldn't mind to be Beninese, but so just to tell you like how, and even like in some circumstances, and even like last time I was talking to one of my colleagues about Cameroon, and I was like sharing some music about Cameroon, and he stopped and looked at me like, did you have a Cameroonian boyfriend? I said, no. He said, the way you talk about it. I said, no, you know what? I have so many good friends who are from Cameroon. And I mean, they shared music with me, food, experiences. And yes, and I would love to go to Cameroon too. And and he was shocked. He was shocked because he couldn't understand I was so knowledgeable. I mean, knowledgeable, quote unquote. Huh? I mean, it's,
Well,
I was very surprised.
Yeah, with what you do, you actually, you're meeting people from many different places on a daily basis, I guess. So, yeah, people are not always do not always have that ability to adapt. I also meet lots of people from Africa, but not everybody is always interested in other cultures. As you've mentioned before, people are only interested in what they know. and they want to stick to it, and sometimes it's difficult for them to to learn about other cultures, differences, and adapt to a different environment. But yeah, so to come back to what you were saying, so how did you get to Vienna?
I mean, Vienna, actually, it's a very funny story because before that, you know, that we were together in France because I studied prior to that in
Exactly.
France.
Yeah.
And yes, it
That's
was,
why we met. So
yeah, we met in Strasbourg. It was so funny. Like, and I saw a very beautiful lady and I heard that you came from China. I was like, oh my God, she came from China. I was so intrigued. And I
yeah,
came to talk to you and then we just clicked and it was,
yeah,
and since then, you know,
indeed.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
And yes, actually, I was studying in France, doing like a master's degree in international relations. And I happened to learn German as my second foreign language. And one of my teacher, like Mr. Bouzard, that you know about,
Yeah.
Le Père Bouzard.
That was the director of our master, right?
Exactly,
In
exactly.
international
Then
relations.
yes, and told me, you know how there is this diplomatic academy in Vienna, Austria, and since you speak German, you should give it a try. And I was like, who? I mean, why? I mean, why should I go to Austria in the first place? I was like, I didn't take much attention. I mean, it didn't appeal to me that much, and I just brushed it off. And he said it. I mean, he mentioned it like a couple of times, but I didn't take it very seriously until I was going to Côte d'Ivoire to visit my family in the summer holidays. So I went to the airport, and I met a group of Ivorian civil servants. And we started like striking up a conversation, and they said, but since you speak German and you studied like international relations, you should give a try to the Diplomatic Academy of Vienna. I was like, hell, what is this? Again, and I said, okay, this is a sign from heaven.
Yeah.
Okay, let me think about it. And just, so the first thing I did when I came back home, I went online and checked the Diplomatic Academy. And this was my first introduction to Austria. And I came for 1 year program, an intensive program for 1 year. And it opened doors for me. And since then, I mean, I was back and forth a lot between Austria and other countries, but I came back 7 years ago for work reasons. And it was a great experience. It opened door to me. Yeah, so this is how I came to Vienna. Actually, it was circumstances, but in the end, it worked out well.
Yeah, exactly. And like you mentioned before, there are those signs, that happen in our lives, and sometimes we don't really pay attention until, we see how everything builds in, like the pieces of the puzzle, they just get together and they produce, what is really, like a great thing in your life right now. So as you said, Vienna is it opened many opportunities to you, and one of those that I want to talk about with you today is your recent initiative that you launched, which is called SETI. I don't know if I pronounce it well.
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit about it? What is SETI, and how did you come up with the idea?
Okay. So SETI is a platform that promotes talented women from the African diaspora and also from Africa. So this is an online platform where I present women who live in Vienna, Austria, but also from Africa, who are entrepreneurs, who have great initiatives, who support their communities, who have an impact around them, and who have aspirations. Because I believe in inspiration. I believe it's a great tool to let people know about great achievements, but also inspire them to do the same. Because I truly believe that each of us, we have talents, we have a set of skills, abilities that are unique to ourselves, and we can use them to serve our community, but the world around us. So this was for me a time to inspire other women, but also build them up, because there are three main aspects that I want to bring forward with SETI is, of course, entrepreneurship, personal development, and women empowerment. And it came from a frustration because I meet many women around me, for example, in social events, conferences. And when I would talk to them, I would meet amazing women with great stories, great impact, that have a real contribution. And I felt there was there was not a place to promote them, to talk about them, to get other people know about it. And also living in a country where that has a little history of immigration, at least from African countries. There are many stereotypes around Black women, African women, and I wanted to really contribute to debunk the myth and to show another side of the diaspora. That is intellectual women, talented women with ambition, dreams, who have purpose, who are achieving many things and who think bigger than themselves. And this is what I really wanted to showcase. And I'm so blessed because every time I interview women, I'm amazed by their personal journey, what they achieved, and also they came against so many odds. And it's amazing to see the determination of people, because sometimes we meet people, but we have no idea what they went through. When you talk to them and their outlook on life, their perspective on life, and I think that each of us can build up on that. And also not only talk, but also empower each other through events, trainings, workshop, and bring people who can inspire, like younger generation, for example, students, professionals, entrepreneurs. There are so many role models in our communities, and I really want to bring it and eventually create a community where women, African women, can inspire each other and show a new narrative of the continent, because there are so many things happening now. People ambitious, fearless, determined, who are in Africa, who are doing amazing things, and even in the diaspora. And I really want to showcase this, what is happening now. This is the idea behind City.
That's really amazing. And I went on your blog. I will put the link in the description bar for people to go and have a look, because I think it's really, really amazing what you're doing. And I'm pretty sure that it will work really, really well for you. And it's a noble cause, you know, to fight for. And as people who were born in Africa, but who happen to move to Europe or, you know, anywhere else abroad in the world, there is always, you know, something different about us. So do you consider yourself an immigrant, or how do you live, you know, as an immigrant in Vienna? As you mentioned before, it's a little bit different there, because it's not quite open, I guess, because I visited you, I think twice in Vienna, and I was really, 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 yes, I was really surprised, you know, because contrarily to, you know, Belgium, for example, where I live, or France, you don't meet lots of, you know, Black people, Africans in Austria. So how do you live there, you know, as an African and a Black woman?
Yeah, I like your question when you said, do I consider myself as an immigrant?
Yeah.
To me, it raised a question because I have the impression, I mean, it's a bit tricky to me in the sense that for us in general, like people like to look at us as immigrants. But for example, when I look at Africa, in Africa, we have many people from other countries, from other regions of the world, and they are called expatriate. I don't know if it is the right word in English, but in French, expatriate. And it seems like those are immigrants of like deluxe immigrants. I don't know if it's, you see. So I was always wondering, why are some people called expatriates, some other are called immigrants? I don't know. I consider myself as cliche as it may sound, to a certain extent, as a citizen of the world, because I love to travel and I would travel even more if I could. But I consider myself as someone experiencing my life as a human being and experiencing other countries, because I believe that the world is my oyster.
Yeah.
So for me, I will not look at myself as someone who came and of course I was lucky, and I will not blame, because people have different stories. Some people come from different backgrounds with a lot of struggles, and they really had to fight to get where they are, and against very difficult circumstances. And this, I mean, just a shout out to them, because they are very brave and determined. But at the same time, I don't necessarily consider myself as an immigrant. I don't see myself like as such. I see myself as someone who moved to another country, because I feel like immigrant has, maybe it's my personal, I don't know, just an idea or a perception of mine, but I feel like it's there is a kind of negative connotation, or like, oh, poor people, or poor you, which I don't want to have, because I don't consider myself as a victim, and I don't want to be like a victim. Even some people really experience bad things, and we have seen all the trauma with human trafficking, and Africans being stuck and stranded in North Africa or in the Sahel, going through very bad conditions, being held in captivity, being kidnapped, being tortured, and asking family to pay a ransom. So those are things that are real, you know?
Yeah.
This is real. Thank God I didn't go through that, but I don't, yes, this is just my feeling and my perception. Maybe I'm wrong, but this is just my first.
No, but I mean, it's a feeling, and it's valid, you know, because that's your experience and that's how you want to be perceived. I think perception is really important in life because, yeah, just like you, I think it's always important to you know, to let people know who you are and how you consider and view yourself, you know, because sometimes people have assumptions, or they will see you because, as you said, I remember when I started working in Belgium, some people were like, oh, are you the child of a minister or something like that, you know, because they're not used to see many Africans, you know, work in the type of environment in which you and I are working today. So sometimes it's a bit tricky, and then they will start making assumptions and they'll be like, okay, but yeah, I think it's important to always, you know, present yourself as you are, and let people know who you are, and independent on what or how you came about to, you know, to get there. So yeah.
And also
So
what you mentioned, sorry, and what you mentioned about Austria, because when you came, you could see that, and many of my friends also witnessed it, that there are not so many Black people in Austria. And it's true, because visually, like, you have a less Black people in Austria, for example, and it's normal because historically they are not used to have such a history of immigration, at least from other parts of the world, because Austria used to be a big empire, a very powerful one, with other countries around. So they were used to immigration, but a very specific type, I mean, a very specific one. So now, since, let's say, and even like back in like 3 centuries ago, there were like some, like, how can I say that? Proofs or evidence that some Black people were also in in Austria, but like the major wave of immigration came, I think, around the 60s or so, with Nigeria after the Biafra War. And so I mean, they have a very recent history of migration from Africa. So it's true that they're not used to that. And of course, people are afraid of things that they don't know. And also, yes, so it's a bit tricky. So this is why there are many people in Austria who are really aware of this, and they are really committed to come together and present a face of the diversity in Austria, to bring a voice. There are so many communities, many diasporas who are committed to this cause. And yes, so it's, and even also like all the prejudices, the misconception that people have, so they really have to come together and address them in a very powerful way.
Oh, that's great. That's super nice, and I think it's yeah, it's important, and that's why I think your platform is also very important to, you know, to showcase you know, what Africans are all about, and you know, let Austrian people also know Africans much more. You know, I think it's always yeah, it's a great thing. So moving forward, I wanted to know how excited, you know, because we are living in a pandemic right now. So, and that's actually why how I came about, you know, having a chat with my friends, because it's quite, it's a difficult, you know, period for many. And so I wanted to know how excited you are about life right now at this moment.
Me, I mean, as I told you, I'm a lover of life. I love life, and I'm very excited about life. Sometimes too much, and people don't understand that. They're like, why is she?
You don't feel like you're limited
No, I mean,
right now?
to be honest, I mean, it has, yes, it has taken a toll on me in certain ways, but compared to other people, I was very blessed. I mean, I wasn't in work that required me to really give my all in, I mean, for example, like people working in the medical field, or certain areas that were really engaged in this crisis. So I was lucky on that, and not to lose my job. People did, you know, like people working in tourism industry, in the food industry, entertainment, etc. So this is very tricky. I mean, I was lucky not to go through this. So this is one first thing, and I'm very humbled by that, and still very grateful, definitely. At the same time, since I'm someone who also likes to reflect and who has a very introspective part to my personality too, it was a time for me to think, to really be able to take, because this crisis has revealed a lot. to us. I mean, for many of us, for example, like the status of our relationships, the status of how we deal with ourselves, if you are comfortable being alone, if you are comfortable with certain choices, decisions that we've made in our life. So I think it was everybody was taken by surprise, and rightly so. But it was also, I like to see it as a time to reflect, and not as a time to beat myself down or to be anxious. And I was also lucky to have very supportive friends around me, people who cared about me, who love me, and yes. So based on that, I didn't feel that affected, and I know that my experience may be unique in comparison to other people who really had to go through many things in this time. So for that, I'm grateful. But I like to consider things from a, let's say, positive perspective. Try to see what I can learn from situations. So for me, it was a time to reflect and to really dig into what I want for my life, and have this also to be connected to my true self. This is how I look at it, at least. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. I think I'm a little bit like you in the sense that I'm actually a very reserved person. So I remember like at the beginning of the lockdown and stuff, people will be calling and wondering, and I was like, I'm okay, everything is fine, yeah, because and that's how you realize that we don't have the same type of life, and the way we interact with other people is different from one person to the other. So I take it that you're really excited about life right now, but for me it's a little bit difficult not to travel, for example, because just like you, I like to do that. I like to go places. I like to see people, meet my friends, my family, because I don't live, I don't have my family around and stuff. So for me, that was difficult, not to be able to go somewhere, if you want to. So this is always, it's still difficult for me to handle. But yeah, we have to deal with it, and there is nothing we can do about it. So
yeah,
that's how we, we can't do anything about it. So yeah. So I want to know, I don't know, it's a little bit off scale to what we were talking about, but what is this one thing people don't know about you?
I think that one thing that they may very be surprised about is that the fact that I'm very spiritual. I think that people in general don't expect that from me. I don't know. Maybe I don't look like someone who's spiritual. I don't know. Because this I heard it sometimes.
Do you have to wear a robe or something to be?
Yeah, I mean, okay. You have to look in a certain way, and yes, that I'm really. Faith is very important to me and my relationship to God. And for me, this is something. And I'm not the kind of person who likes to talk about personal stuff. I'm very private. I mean, as you know. So it's not like, for me, it's not. I don't like to come and say what I'm all about, because I like to keep this privacy. I'm very big on privacy, sometimes too much. I don't know. I'm not like the open book type of person. No, I'm not like this.
But why is that? Is there a reason for that, or is just your nature?
I think it's my nature. I think it's my nature. I mean, even though I'm very curious as a person, I like to know a lot about people, but giving information on myself, I feel like I don't know, I'm a very private person.
It's a little bit contradictory, because
I know it's true. I mean, and this is true. I mean, like, and this is what I like about human experience, because we are the way we are, but we also have contradiction, that for example, you can have a very, how can I say that, outgoing personality, because I like people. At the same time, I like to meet people, to know about them. I have this curiosity about life and people, but at the same time, I really have this inward thinking that is very. So sometimes people, they may be a bit unsettled about that, but me, I know that I'm like this. It may be surprising to people, but I'm just like this. Yeah. So I think that it's like the spiritual part of my being. I think that it may surprise some people if they don't know me. Yeah.
So, but when you say that you're spiritual, what does it mean? Is it like, is it about religion, or is it about like a relationship with a higher human being, or Is it a human being? Is it, what is it? What
Yes, I know that.
How would you define, spirituality? Yeah.
Oh, this is a good question. I definitely believe in God. Yes, I'm a Christian, and for me, it's very important. To me, having a relationship to God is one of the biggest and the greatest thing to have. I consider Him as being the greatest source of love, and yes, and being connected to your Creator is just one of the biggest things. At least to me, based on my experience, this is a great thing. I know that we live in a time where like spirituality is a very trendy word, and we have like we live in a time where we have this possibility to have many philosophies, spiritualities. It was always the case actually. We always had like a diversity of school of thoughts, spiritualities, religions, practices, spiritual practices, and now we also have there is a hype around meditation, around yoga, certain Eastern spiritualities, on top of also other things that were around for a long time, and even like from us African, we come from backgrounds that are highly spiritual, and even like in the traditional way, the way that, for example, African societies consider the world, like the outlook that they have on the world with the spiritual and the invisible world being very pregnant. I mean, not pregnant, but very, you see that I wanted to speak French.
It's fine.
my mind is like in French
Yeah,
mode.
it's thinking in French and then you have to deliver in English. Yeah.
Exactly. So, and even like in the African sense of it, like the way that we look at the world with the realm of the invisible, the connection to the ancestors.
Supernatural.
So, exactly. So this is something that is very, this is a reality. Some other cultures, because of time and evolution of history and circumstances, may have developed differently, but this is a part of who human beings are. So for me, spirituality is part of the being. In the same way that I have a brain, in the same way that I have a body, and I need to nurture my intellect, but also like nurture my soul and have a purpose higher than myself. So for me, it makes sense. And to me, a human being who neglects this aspect of his life is imbalanced. I truly believe so.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that for many years, people were very proud to be, not believers or to be beyond religion or any kind of spiritual activities. And now we realize that actually in the current world, people are going back because they feel they have this sense that there's something missing.
Yeah.
And I think it's all about balance, and we have many dimensions to ourselves. And I think as human beings, it's important to acknowledge that, to acknowledge this aspect, definitely. Otherwise, you can be imbalanced. And yeah, this is how I look at it.
Yeah. And as you mentioned before, you mentioned something very interesting to me, which is a higher purpose. Do you feel like you found yours already? Because to tell you the truth, I've been looking for mine and I'm not sure I found it yet. So
no, to be very honest, I mean, just like you, I'm working to get to my purpose. I don't feel like I'm there yet, definitely. I won't pretend.
Yeah.
But there are things that I know that I have interest and I want to contribute. There are things that I want to do. I feel desire in my heart to contribute. There are topics that are really that I relate strongly to, and I want to pursue them. And there are areas that I want to contribute and build. And for example, my connection to Africa and be part of this new narrative of the continent is something that is really close to my heart. So there are areas, and for example, my passion for private sector development, because I believe in economic power. I think that for most African countries, this is where the battle is now in the 21st century. I mean, in the 21st century. I know that many people have a very strong view on, how can I say that, bringing back a certain glory or like rehabilitating the African man or African women image and so on, or countries, which makes sense. But I think that we have to fight the right battles. And now the time is for us to be where people are fighting the battle. It starts there. And people don't have to like you. I mean, we don't expect them to like us, but they have to respect us. And respect also comes from your ability to play the game and also beat people at their own game. So I think this is, and other people, and this is nothing new. Huh? I mean, there are people like,
no,
for
of course
example,
not. Yeah.
no.
But everybody has to do something at their own level. And I think that's really important. And, you have to do what you do, and other people also have to do what they do, and putting everything together, we get to, to where we want to go. And related to that, I think it's important to have skills, you know, to be able to make it happen. And I wanted to know, what is the skill? I mean, what's your best skill you think you have? And which one are you working on at the moment, you know, to get to that purpose that you're looking for in your life?
Wow, this is a very big question. I don't know how to handle it, honestly,
Well,
Michelle.
just handle it. I know you can.
Oh, one thing I know that I am good at is to bring out the best in other people. And this, I know I have this ability to look at what people can bring to the table and really see that in them. And also, how can I say that? I have this ability to encourage people. I think I'm a natural cheerleader. I really like to cheer people up. It's something that I do very naturally. And this is, I mean, the thing that comes to my mind.
I mean, you're always good fun, that's for sure. So you never get bored when you're with Hawa, that I can tell you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so this, and yeah, so for me, the platform is also a time for me to practice this skill through writing, for example, writing articles on the blog, writing profiles, and also, yes, interviewing people. This is one of the things. And there are so many things I want to experience and explore. And I know that, for example, the realm of entrepreneurship is something that I'm also interested. There are areas that I have an interest in, but I don't have a precise project in this area, but those are aspirations that I have for the future. And I just will see what the future holds for me in this area. But definitely this bringing out the best out of people and shedding light into the positives of others, this is something that I really like to do. Yeah, this is the first thing that I can think of right off the...
Yeah. And where do you start that? You know, is it with family, friends, workplace, or all this at the same time? Is there a specific place where you want to, you know, to do this first and then build from there? Or
you mean for the blogging or for the
no, I
entrepreneurship?
mean, like the skills that you have. You said that you're a good cheerleader. You like to encourage people. So how do you go about that? Is it people? Are those people in your family, at the workplace, or, you know, friends, or all those circles together?
I think all the circles around my friends, definitely family members too. But yeah, I do it, and even like for my sisters, my brothers. But I believe also around my friends, because I live away from my family just like you. And I have this, and I like to encourage people. And when I see something, and I like to, and this is something that I truly nurture, I have this ability to be, how can I put it? Be excited at life, but also keep this sense of amazement, like to being amazed by things. I like to keep this, to be able to look at, I mean, not to be jaded. Some people, like, they take things for granted, and I don't like this. And I really actively work on that, not to take things for granted, and be able to be appreciative and admirative of things that are happening around me.
Exactly.
Be it in my daily life and in very small things. And I like to take pride, I mean, joy in small things, like really, because I think when you do that, yeah, because sometimes we are so much looking for the big next thing to happen, which is good. You have to be ambitious, and this is a good thing.
Yeah.
But you also have to be appreciative of small things. And me, I really take pride in doing that, like intentionally, really. So it can be like in, for example, encounters I make, people I talk to, experiences in life, like being thankful for small things as for big things, but also acknowledge the value that people bring in my life. For example, when I have friends and I see that they have a certain set of qualities and they inspire me, because I have many people who inspire me around me, like honestly, like in my work, my friend circles, my family. For example, like when I see my parents, how they come about life, how they do things. So for me, it's like I see inspiration literally everywhere, literally everywhere. So for me, I'm like so happy and blessed to be taken. I mean, I cannot live all those lives, but I'm blessed to be a witness of this and to take the best out of it. So for me, this is how I look at it. And I like to keep this sense. And I think that children have this sense of, in French we say émerveillement. Like they know how to...
Wonder.
Exactly, wonder. Exactly.
Okay, so yeah, and you mentioned something very, very interesting, like where we can be inspired, you know, by many people and by the little things and stuff. But I wanted to know if you find that there is a difference between being inspired and being empowered, and if yes, how would you differentiate the two? Because I know you're very big on personal development, you know, just the way you talk, you know, you speak, and I know that you're working on that for yourself. But do you happen to know if there is a fundamental difference between the two, between being inspired and being empowered, or the two go together?
This is a very, very good question, because to me, at least this is how I look at it. Being inspired is more, how can I put it, an internal thing, or let's say aha moment. For example, you have a situation that sparkle, I mean, that's bring a sparkle inside of you, that make you realize something and that pushes you to act. But it's all very, I would say, mental, or in your mind, or even in your heart. Like you feel this sparkle and this desire to do something better, greater than yourself, and to move to your, to your higher self. And when I say higher self, not like the very basic one where we just follow our own potions, or we are just doing things, okay, business as usual, basically.
Yeah.
See? So this is the inspire. I mean, this inspiration comes from this place. Empowerment, I think it's more about giving people the tools to really actually do and bring about like the results and really deal with action. So for
Okay.
me, those two things go hand in hand, and it's important to inspire, because
Yeah.
I feel I believe that the human brain, like we as human, we have this possibility. When we know that something is possible, it opens all the possibilities. And we know, for example, when someone has, when we have like, okay, in the sport area, when you know that there is a sport person who broke like a record, only knowing that, it allows you somehow to know that you can do it and even do better.
Yes.
So this is how people operate. So when they know that something can be done, they just go after it and they do it. Because
Indeed.
in their mind, it opens so many possibilities. So this is one thing. But empowerment is also important, because you have to give people the tools. And yeah, you may have, okay, we need knowledge, we know the know-how. So for me, this is where empowerment goes hand in hand with inspiration. But you cannot just inspire people and just let them there with no skills and let them to their own device, because we have potential, and this potential has to be nurtured all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's a great answer, and it helps me also, because I always find it, you know, difficult to make the difference. You know, like inspiration, as you said, it's something more internal, while empowerment is more external, and it means like, yeah, getting out there and actually doing the thing that you want to achieve. That's really, really interesting. Thank you for clarifying it for me also. So so related to that, is there a book, you know, that you would recommend to people, you know, that one book that if someone had to read, you would recommend that they do?
There are many books that truly inspired me. In general, I would talk about a biography from Wangari Maathai, which is Unbowed, because I was really touched by her story. And I know that, remember, we met her like in Strasbourg when she made a speech in, I believe it was in the European Development Days several years ago. Yeah, and I get the chance to see her, and I was very inspired by the person that she is. I really liked her biography, someone who actually looked for a purpose. And she was determined to help her community, empower women from grassroots organizations, because she saw issues around her and she took it in her hands to provide a solution. And she went against the against the odds. She was misunderstood. People didn't understand her in her community, starting in her own family.
Yeah.
And she also lost many things along the way, like a reputation, job. So she really had to, and she was also fighting against like a political system, and she became an icon, you see. And I was really touched by someone who just wanted to do good. And she, and for me, true leadership comes from a sense of service, and she really embodied it to me. And like her sense of determination, her fiercelessness, because she was a fierce woman, but yet she had this heart to help other human fellow beings, and I really liked it. And she did it through environment, and all of us we can do. And I was very touched by how she came about all these things, for example. And actually, she went to school. It was so funny, like the way that she ended up going in school, because back then she was born in the 40s, and it was an older brother who said to her mom, "But how come my sister doesn't go to school?" And the mom said, "Oh yeah, I mean, why doesn't she go to school?" And this is how she went to school. And you can see like this woman who was a Nobel Prize, the first African Nobel Prize, and she was able to go to school. And you know that you can miss an opportunity based on a small detail.
Yeah.
Maybe if she didn't go to school, like all this potential, all these skills, like the light that the contribution that she could bring to the world would have been like just maybe, I don't know, it may have not happened. So sometimes like small details and how it started, and I was touched by her journey as a woman that she was, and definitely Wangari Maathai with her book Unbowed. But also there is a book that I currently read that I found awesome. And I think for us, it's good to know ourselves as human beings. And this book is by Robert Greene, The Laws of Human Nature.
Okay.
And it's amazing to understand how human beings function, operates. And to me, it's amazing to see how we like to think of ourselves and how we actually are and how we operate. And for example, there is one law of the book that was really impressive to me, because he mentioned the fact that you have to confront your dark side, for example.
Okay. Do you have one?
Yeah, we all have ones. Man. Yes, I mean, this, for example, and he gave like example from history, but also for people to be aware of who they are. For example, to know that where you come from, what triggers you, why you react in certain ways, and be able to be at peace with who you are. And some of us, we like to think of ourselves, okay, we think that we are in a certain way, but people around us can see other things. And sometimes we behave in a way, we have like unconscious bias, we have ways of, and you have to be able to be at peace with this. And I found it very interesting to bring this aspect forward, but also other things. For example, like one of the laws was, for example, like the law of irrationality. We like to think that we are very rational people, but it's not true. We are led by emotions, and this is not even like a women thing. People have to stop this.
No. Everybody has emotions.
Men and women, thank you. Yeah. People like to think that they are very rational in every way that they behave. It's not true. When you understand that, you understand yourself. You develop this emotional intelligence, but also you develop your ability to understand other people and deal better with them. So I mean, for me, this book was amazing. It opened a new way to understand human beings and understand myself.
Yeah.
And it's so important to be self-aware, because you cannot just aspire to lead people when you don't know yourself and don't know how to lead yourself. So for me, just being consistent, you have to start with yourself. I mean, what is the point of going to like being around people and tell them what they have to do when you don't know yourself and you cannot even deal with your own person. You see, it doesn't make sense. You have to start first things first. So
yeah, it's important to lead by example.
Definitely.
Yeah,
it starts there.
Yeah. Okay, that's great. I will check those book out. I think maybe when you met Wangari Maathai, I wasn't in Strasbourg yet, so because I don't remember that. Yeah, probably the year before I arrived. Yeah, that was probably then. So, if you had to make a documentary, for example, today, what would it be about?
You know what? I love history. Yeah, I love history, and there is a French show that is called The Secret d'Histoire. History secrets, and I would love to have something like this, but for Africa.
Okay.
I would love to have, because I'm big on history and I love museums. I love to go to museums, and I feel like, and this is also one of the battles that we African countries, African people have, is to know better our history beyond what, like the common assumptions, what we've always been provided with. For example, always referring to colonization, slavery, which I think those are parts that happen. Nobody can argue with that. But there is so much more and so many sources of knowing our own history. We have this oral tradition, but also other aspects. And I think that we will learn a lot and benefit a lot if we know our history. And I would love to have a show, for example, a Pan-African one, where people can just bring about some aspect of African history that we don't know. And most importantly, open a debate, like open the door for discussions and reflection, because I think that it's not good to just be there and look at history from a very passive perspective, but know that you make your history and based on the choices and the decisions that you make. And it's so funny, sometimes when you look history books, sometimes you have like changes in history that happen because of a small detail.
Yeah.
See? And for example, like in French history, like you have kingdoms that were made or destroyed because of, I know it's very
love
petty to say,
affair or something.
love affairs, you know, like a woman who just said something in the ear of the king.
Yeah.
I mean, like sometimes it's very stupid.
Yeah. That's true.
And you have to be proactive. And I think that history is a part of identity and give a sense of proud, but also open the door for reflection and not look at history from the very easy perspective, to be easy on ourselves, or like maybe put the blame on other people. As it's very often the case, which I think doesn't serve any purpose.
No.
And it's so funny to see that, for example, other areas in the world also went through very traumatic experiences, and they never accepted to see themselves as victims, and they actually decided to take their future in their own hands, and they did what it took. So for me, I want to see this side of Africa coming out, and I know that there are people who are doing this greatly. And I would love to have a show, a documentary, Secret d'Histoire.
Oh, that's nice.
And, talking about so many aspects, like in modern history, but also in past history. And most importantly, open the discussion and people be able to reflect in a constructive way. Not like in the, make me feel good, emotional, bashing people, lashing out, venting out. No, we don't need that. And also, it's not about being emotional all the time. You have to be like, use your brain. Okay, we all go through very bad experiences in lives, but some people, like, they get back, they learn from it, and they move on. We have to do that. And this, I'm dying to see this happening in the community and in many African countries and societies. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. I think I would like to be part of such a project. So maybe we should talk about it.
Awesome. I really would love to see that too.
So you just mentioned that you like going to museums and stuff. So what do you usually do during your free time? I mean, when we were able to do stuff. So do you like art? And
this was a long time ago. Oh my God, COVID. Woo! Now, like when you even see pictures of parties, people getting together, you get emotional. You're like, oh my God.
When did that happen again? Yeah, I know.
Man, this is crazy. This is crazy. And yes, what I like to do in my free time, I love to do many things. I mean, of course, as you said, I like to go to museums. This is something that I like to do because I'm interested in art. I'm very, when I see something beautiful or that appeals to my emotions, I really like to dive into that. I like to spend time with my friends too, people that inspire me, people I can learn from, who expand my horizon and my understanding of the world. This, I love to do that. And I like to ask people, I like to ask questions a lot. And why people do stuff, why they think like this, what is their perspective, because I like to enrich myself. So this is always, for me, I never miss any opportunity to connect with people and ask them questions. For me, this is something that I love to do and learn from everybody. Learn literally from everybody.
Yeah.
And also, yes, I love to read too. Even though, like, with the COVID time, I feel like I'm also struggling a bit with my organization in the sense that working from home has completely shifted the way that we deal with work. So yes, I love to read too, books, like personal profiles, management books, history, personal development, novels. I'm more like in the non-fiction part of it because I'm a very grounded person. I like to deal with real stuff. When it's too up in the sky, I'm like, this is too disconnected.
Sometimes just, to go somewhere else, to
yes, I know,
see that deal.
It's true. Yeah, but I'm not a science fiction person. This I know very well. So. And even like, for example, when I watch like horror movies, I need to feel like it can be real for me to be really scared, If it's too hoo-hoo, I'm like, forget it. Yes, I love to dance too. I'm a big foodie. I love to eat.
Yeah, I was going to talk about it. And like, yeah, you love to cook, you like to eat, and that's a passion we share.
Yeah,
I think so.
I'm a big foodie, man. Woo! No, I don't joke with food. And my friends know that Hawa doesn't joke with food. I don't joke with food, man. No. And you know, like when I come to some people places, I can go to their kitchen and open their cupboard and look at the spices that they use.
Yeah, and smell them.
Oh my God.
I know.
No, I'm really,
So,
yes.
so yeah, talking about food,
Yeah.
if you happened, to be stuck on an island, for example, and you had to pick one that you were going to eat, forever without getting tired of it, what would it be?
No, Michelle, this is very mean. Why? Why on earth do you ask me this question?
But
Why? No. You know, sorry, I'm getting emotional now. You see, only talking about food, I get emotional. How can you ask me such a question? Of all the food available on this earth, to choose one.
And on an island, please. So you don't really have, a lot of choice.
I don't know. Does it
I
have
think
to
you
be a
could get
fish or something
fish,
like
you could
meat?
get coconut, you could get leaves and stuff like that. So what would it be?
Wow. Michelle, this is a very tough question. I don't know what I'm going to choose. Okay, if I'm on an island, I guess I can get seafood. So why not like get some fish and seafood and grill it with like our ancestors used to do that with the with the silex and the stones, whatever. I don't know. Yeah, maybe that. But man, this is a very difficult question. I really don't know how to answer this question.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to, and especially for someone who loves food, I guess you can't really have an answer for that. So we get to an easier one related to food still.
Yeah.
If you were to cook dinner for 3 people, living or dead, who would they be?
Honestly.
And what would you cook for them?
Honestly, for like spontaneously, I will only do that for one person.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
And who is the lucky person? Who is the lucky person?
Like the person is dead, but you won't be that surprised. You know that I am a big fan of Marvin Gaye. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I don't know
He's
why.
dead, Marvin Gaye.
I know he's dead, but but you said living or dead, so I said, spontaneously. Marvin Gaye, because I was always touched by his personal story, his talent as a musician, and also as a person, like the trouble that he went through, and I don't know why, just like the way that he lived and the way that he passed away, and his music touched me, and even his personal stories. So I would love to and also he was a handsome man. I mean, yeah. A bit troubled, but yeah. I mean, I spontaneously I would think about like maybe having a talk with him and talk to him, but I don't think I'd be like willing to cook. I'd just be sitting there and talk to him. I think, or maybe, yeah.
And listen to his music and dance.
Yeah, I mean, talk to him and yeah, I would like to have an insight in the person that he was, and yeah, personally, this is what I can spontaneously think about, like this, off the bat.
Okay, super. So since we're talking about Marvin Gaye, men, food and stuff, and that tomorrow is a very special day for some people. And we talked a lot about women, so we're going to talk about men a little bit. So do you remember who was your first crush, like growing up?
I mean, my first crush, as far as I can remember, was in, I think, kindergarten. And it was in Senegal, actually. It was because back then I was in, it was in a nun school, Notre Dame de Dakar. And actually it was a little boy that was very cute. I think he was mixed guy, but very cute. And I was like, oh, this guy was cute.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is from my memory. This was my first crush I can remember of. Yeah.
Did you talk to him or?
I think that we played together. I mean, he was a neighbor in his classroom, and but this is, I don't even know his name. But I mean, as far as I can remember,
you don't remember, yeah.
No, yeah.
Okay, so that was a long time ago. But like today, what qualities usually attract you the most in people, in men, or in general, or people in general? Yeah.
In men, definitely integrity. I like people with integrity. I mean, for me, this is a big thing.
What does that mean? What does that mean?
It's like the way that integrity is the, how can I say that? It's not only about what you say, it's also about what you do. Like this alignment between what you say and what you're doing, someone who has values and who acts upon those values accordingly. So for me, I like people who are consistent and this is a quality that I admire in anybody, men and women. But for me, if I'm interested in someone, this is something that I want to see. I don't like people who are wavy. You say one thing and you think another, or you say one thing and you do another. I don't like this. And this is anybody. So me, this is a value. I mean, this is a quality that I really admire in people. And also people who have, for me, this is one thing. Also kind-hearted, because I like people who have a good heart. I mean, to me, it's very important. It's not only about the power and the status, even though it's very attractive. I mean, I won't lie. Someone who comes with certain bravado, it can be nice, like this self-assurance. But if you don't have this warmth and this confidence that you have, I think that you will be very able to hurt people and abuse them or use them for your own purpose. And this can be any people, men, women. This is totally. So for me, integrity is a big thing for me, and I like this. People who stand for something, what they believe in, even though it may cost something to them, but I admire, and I feel like with the person who has this quality, I can look up to him, and also like it will inspire me to be the best version of myself and to go to my higher self. Yeah,
definitely. Okay, that's great. And talking about that still, what would you choose between money and love?
Love, man, love. Direct, no discussion.
Yeah,
Michelle,
but why?
No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Okay, how can I say that? There are two things I can say. Yeah. First of all, I mean, I have a Nigerian friend who said something once that I found brilliant. When she said that, I was laughing the whole day. She said, you know how I'm the kind of person who believes in suffering. I explain myself. I mean, just like me, and I think that you're also like this kind of person, at least this kind of woman. I'm the kind of person I believe in working on your own talents and fighting for yourself in terms of skills, in terms of work, job, whatever, provide for yourself too. So there are people, and you know that in our countries, for example, there are women who are amazing, who are beautiful, we have nice bodies, who have really things going on for them. And they use this body as, how can I say that? An insurance, a life insurance. To get something out of men and, to be supported by men, pay their rent, support their family or whatever. So, there is a way of doing things. Yeah. But I believe in fighting for myself, first off. So based on that, I don't see myself not working and actually contributing financially to my household or my family or whatever, or myself, definitely. Exactly. So this is one thing. So when I say I believe in suffering, this is what I meant. Not easy. I don't believe in the easy way. I don't believe in the easy way. This is my personal take. I mean, people may agree or not. This is just the way it is. And this is what I think. Yeah. So this is one thing. The second thing, what is the use of having a man who has a lot of money, but who has a shitty personality? Man, what is the purpose? Just like if you have a very handsome man, like the guy is super cute, very handsome, but he has a shitty personality. What is the use? Yeah, it doesn't. As we say in Côte d'Ivoire, I'm not going to eat his beauty, or I'm not going to eat his money. I mean, technically, you can eat someone's money, you know that.
Well, you cannot take the money and eat it, you will do stuff with the money.
Exactly. So for me, I was thinking, no, I mean, to me, love. Yeah. Love, I mean, definitely. I mean, of course, it's very cliche, but I believe in suffering, as you know, like this kind of suffering, not any kind of suffering.
Yeah.
But for me, love, because
it's not actually suffering. It's like building yourself and taking care of yourself and not relying on anybody else to do that for you. I think in this day and age, it's really important to be able to do that for yourself. So when someone comes with the money, it's just a bonus. It's not like you were waiting for them to come and get you out of whatever state you are in your life. So no, I'm totally in agreement with you on that. So. Yeah, and so, but still, because if you want to offer gifts to people, you have to have money. So, but I'm not sure that gifts, the best gifts are always bought with money. But I would like to know if, what's the best gift you've ever received in your life? Yeah.
Me, I'm big on gifts. I
So far.
love gifts. I love gifts, and I won't lie. People who just like you give them a present, oh, you should have not given me a gift. You will never hear it from my mouth. Me, never. If you give me a present, I'll be like, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I love presents. This, I won't lie. At the same time, lately, like last year, I celebrated my birthday, and my friends gave me a present. They made, even though I love presents, any kind of present, like, any kind, like I really like presents. But they made a book, a small booklet with the pictures of several events that times that we spent together, pictures. And
Nice.
I was so touched by it. And I did, for me, it was amazing. I
Yeah.
really, and like the memories, for me, it's like the memories, like this time that you spent with other people and what you inspired to them. And for me, this is so precious. And even
That's
seeing
cool.
this small booklet with the pictures, all these faces with laughter, these smiles, those goofy faces. Yes, I mean, those are memories that I cherish. And for me, this is amazing. And yeah,
Oh,
for
that's
me,
so
this was
cool. Yeah,
like
and
really touched me.
when you speak, I just I just realized that you really do have amazing friends, and I mean, like for your friends to do that for you on your birthday,
Yeah,
it's really something
yes, yes, yes.
special. I remember I also had that once, but that was when I was living in China, and it was not my friends, but it was my classmates. At the end of our studies, we organized it, and we did it for everybody actually. So we made this book. With our souvenirs, and yeah, I can only imagine that it's really something precious. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you're definitely a good friend. And how do you handle your friendships? How do you go
I
about,
should, I should ask you
because
because
you meet so many people, but then, as we said before, people are so different. People have their own upbringing, their own culture, personalities, and stuff. So, how do you deal with your friendships, and what kind of friend are you, in a nutshell?
this is an awesome question. I value friendship a lot.
Mm,
And I feel like no man is an island. We all need people.
mhm,
Even though I believe in also being able to fight for yourself, provide for yourself, which is good, but we need people. And iron sharpens iron. For me, I believe it. And friendship is one of the gifts that we have as human beings. This is a place to experience love from other people, but also to nurture each other.
mhm,
And for me, friendship has a great value, and I'm so blessed to have people around me, and one of them to inspire me, to support me, and speak truth in my life. Also, people can tell you things the way it is, even though it's not pleasant. Huh? And some people,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So this is, and I value that. And I know many people. I have many acquaintances, people I know like this. But for me, I have a very clear difference between acquaintances,
yeah, and
people that you
friends, yeah.
hang out, like you just,
Mm-mm,
strike a conversation, you have fun together, and people who are friends. And I
yeah.
consider friends like handful.
Mm-mm,
And those people, and I can see that they look like, I mean, we are the same in many ways.
mm-mm,
We may not have the same beliefs or the same upbringing, but I can see from the values, the way that we look at life, they value the same thing
mm-mm,
as me, and they help me to become a better person
mm.
in many ways. For example, if I do something that is not right, I mean, they can do it like, but tell you in a loving way,
Yeah,
But
yeah,
even like
sure.
looking at them, the choices that they make in their life, it empowers me, you know.
Mm-mm,
When I'm feeling
totally.
down, like to have a friend who can tell you, okay, I mean, this is going to be fine, that you're going to be okay,
Mm,
or they see maybe like a weakness that you have and they give you like advice, or
mm.
even and me, I also value friendship over time, and I feel like time is a test of this
Mm-hmm.
friendship. When I
Exactly.
can think of having a friend that we are friends for more than 10 years
Yeah.
or more than 15 years, to me it tells a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they are support to me in my life, in my journey.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful to have friends, and I want to nurture those relationships. I cannot. There are people who are acquaintances. They will know me from a distance.
Mm-hmm.
But I would like to be a better friend, to support my friends and be there for them. And even like we are like, sometimes distance may come between us because of life. They live there, I live here, but
Mm-hmm.
still. And for me, it's amazing. Some people I can laugh with, like be goofy, be myself,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
without any restriction. For me, this is a blessing, it's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
And I
totally.
would like to be the kind of friend that inspire the friend, that support them,
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and
I think
yeah.
you are. I think you are.
No, thank you, thank you. But I mean, me, I'm very blessed, and I could see that because, for example, people I know who, in certain times of their life, they moved in another country. They couldn't have a very supportive circle. It affected their lives in a very negative way.
Yeah.
So when they came across, I mean, when they came around other people who were much positive or who brought something better to their life, you can see the change, and they can even witness it. So for me, it's very important the people that you surround yourself with. And
Yeah.
people can be fake, people can be fake. They can be around you because they want something out of you.
Yeah.
They are there because they want to be closer to you, to spy on you, or maybe to go and gossip. There are many type of people. So you have to be able to discern who is who, and
Exactly.
really pour into people that bring value to your life and who are there when you have issues and who have your back. And there are
Yeah.
people like this in my circle, and I can really, and I'm so blessed to have them in my life. And yeah, this is amazing.
That's
really.
great. Yeah, totally. So, but like you were talking earlier about fake people and stuff. Do you have any enemy,
Man, this is a good question. Okay, I would like to think that I don't have any declared enemy to my knowledge. But people are what they are, and how can I say that? To me, honestly, I would rather have someone who is an open enemy to who declares an enemy to me upfront.
Yeah.
At least I know what it is about and I know who I'm dealing with. But the worst thing is people who smile at you, but you don't know what they think about you. You see what I mean? So for me, this is where the issue is. Yeah. So to my knowledge, I don't have any open enemies. At least people who declare themselves as such. But being an observant person, and yeah, I'm
But
not naive too. So yeah.
yeah. But have you ever had a friend, person that you thought was your friend, but then became, maybe not an enemy, but not a friend anymore?
To be honest, I'm not very surprised by people because I think I'm observant and I know how to read people. Even though I like to see the good in them, I'm not naive in the sense that and also this is why I was referring later on to this, earlier on this book, The Law of Human Nature, because people can come to you for different motives and hide themselves. And for example, there is this very basic, how can I say that sentence that goes as pose as a friend and spy as an enemy. And for example, so how can I say that? I can read people and I'm not naive. And for me, friends, they are a handful. So I know who I can consider as friends, but we are human beings. So we are, by definition, we have our own weaknesses, our shortcomings.
Definitely.
In the same way that people around me will bear with my own weaknesses, so I will also bear with their own. But yeah, for me, how can I say that? I'm not surprised at people. To be honest, I'm not. So when people act in a way, I'm like, I could see it coming. I'm cool, but So I'm not that surprised. In general, I'm not that surprised. I didn't have like major fallouts. To my knowledge, people come and go. People that you were friends in primary school, we grow up, we go different ways. This is part of life. So you have to also be, willing to know that people are coming. Some people will stay longer, some people for a lifetime, some people based on certain circumstances, but you have to accept that. When you know that, you're going to be cool,
Yeah, totally. So that means that you don't really judge people easily. So you like to take people as they come and make your own opinion on them, and get along for the time you're together. And then if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
It doesn't work out, and there are people like there are people who cannot stand you, and you cannot stand them. In the sense that you're different. I believe I'm a very enjoyable person. Like I'm not a difficult person to be around. I'm very adaptable, but at the same time, I know that my outlook on life, the way that I behave, my personality may not suit to people, like they may not like some stuff about me, so they cannot stand me. So even though I can be around them for a short time, it cannot be something very, substantive. So yeah. And I don't like to judge people. I'm also aware of something, that we all have bias and unconscious bias. So I won't pretend that I'm away from those bias or those prejudices. I will not say that. It's not true. but I try to give the benefit of the doubt, at least to be around people and give them the chance to show me who they are. But me, I'm very like, I'm observant. So when I see someone who's like, you're kind of looking like full of crap, I'm out.
Yeah, you run away.
No, I don't have time for like to spend my energy on people like full of crap. No.
Yeah,
And this being women, men, like anything, no.
So, so as I said before, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Do you have a Valentine you're going to spend the day with, or?
No, I don't have a Valentine per se. Talking to people, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, I wish I had a Valentine. I really wish, because I think it's a good thing to have like a significant other, someone that you can really, enjoy this day, even though love is every day that you should celebrate. Yeah, and I will celebrate with other people, male and female, but yes, I wish I had, but for the time being, okay, let's say not yet. There are people who are there, that we are exploring some, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, but at
So
this
you're
stage,
dating and stuff. So
yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I would love to.
how is dating during a pandemic? How is it?
My dear, how can I say that? As the saying goes, all roads lead to Rome.
What does that mean?
No, it means that the opportunities to connect with people are so many. Okay, of course, we live in a digital time, as you said before. So we are blessed to have like digital tools, online platform. It can be online, on apps. People like reaching out from out of nowhere, like Facebook, LinkedIn, or whatever, or even in on dating apps. I mean, so you can meet people, and even like in your own circle, people from your circle that you met. So there are many opportunities to connect.
Yeah.
But at the same time, since I don't want to deal with nonsense. And I'm also like this, I'm a kind of person, I'm selective anyways in friendship or whatever, I can deal with you on a very superficial level, but when it talks to like real stuff, I know my limits.
Okay. Yeah, but so, talking real talk, what do you think about marriage? Do you think it has to do with love, or it's something else? What are your views? And as a very powerful woman, because I think you're one, so.
Thank you. To me, I value marriage. I know that we live in a time where people, especially in the Western world, I know that for us Africans, we come from cultures and society where marriage is still something that is regarded highly upon, and we value marriage and for what it is as in our societies. Here it's different. So people tend to look at it in a very, okay, whatever, it doesn't match. It doesn't mean much. I don't think so. I think it's one of the very important decisions that you make in life. And I value it because I value commitment. And I think that commitment in any way, in any aspect of your life is important. It can be in your work, in your relationship with your family, your friends, in commitment to yourself, to be like, accountable for your own choices, like to move forward in life. So for me, commitment is everywhere. And I feel, as I told you, time is a good test of anything that we have of value. And you see, and you know that something is of value when they can test, when they can stand the test of time. So I don't know why people sometimes okay, I mean, of course we live in a world, we have this opportunity to have, many experiences, especially after like this sexual revolution that happened. People can multiply many things, partners, and have many experiences. I mean, it's a good thing, it's good to be free. But for me, I think that marriage has something that is very, how can I say that? It's a place to experience commitment and a place to experience a kind of love that is devotional. Like you are willing, it's not like nobody can force you. You are willing to give your all to someone and they are willing to do that towards you. You are willing to how can I say that, overcome situations, your own weaknesses, to love someone no matter what. And for me, I love this aspect. And I love this dimension because I think it pushes us to another level.
I think those are good marriages,
Of course, because people, and no, I mean, you're very right, good marriages, because I believe that people do also choices for the for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
You can do it because you want something out of someone. Maybe you like this, their status, their financial status, the social status, what they can bring to
we
you.
talked before, money.
exactly money or what they can bring to you or help your family or prove a point to people. There are some people like they marry to prove a point.
True.
Like they have an ex that they want to, give it to, like in a good way.
Exactly.
Like, let me show you, I'm going to get married to show you I can move on without you. I'm like, man, people can, marry like because they fall out, because they feel a kind of pressure. They can do choices, or run away from certain situations, or maybe they crave for this companionship so badly that they want to be with someone at any cost.
Yeah.
People who choose people from the wrong reason, like you may like someone, but they're not good for you. You want to be something with someone, but they are not equipped to be the person to move you in places in life. I mean, there are many things. So, but still, I like the idea of marriage, at least good marriage.
Yeah.
Because you can have abusive ones, bad ones, definitely. But I think it's a place to learn as human being. It's a place to really learn, to push yourself.
To grow also.
To grow, definitely, to grow. Relationships have this potential, but marriage, it's another level, I think.
Yeah.
It's another level, definitely.
Yeah, because it's a different type of commitment.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, super. That's great. Hawa, we've been talking for a long time now.
Oh,
and we don't see time, passing because it's so nice. But since we don't want, to make it too long, I will have maybe a last question for you. What is it that you would like to be remembered for so far, in your journey in this life? So is there something specific?
Me, I would love to be remembered for the value I brought to people's life. In many instances, it can be through the inspiration, the love, the support, like being remembered, like when I'm gone, people are going to say, oh, wow, she was a good person, she really did this for me. And not even in the material way, it can also be, but what I brought in terms of hope, light, yes, like the positive touch I had on people's life. For me, this would be like the best thing. Empower people, inspire them, help them with any capacity. It can be like with a smile, with a joke, or like maybe some financial support if I can, or or open door for them in a way. I don't know, any like spiritual support, whatever. I mean, for me, it's like the value that I would add in people's life, definitely.
That's so cool. That's a great thing to be wanting to be remembered for. And I think it's important, and I think you are actually working on that, because I think the women that you are interviewing and connecting with, they will feel that, and that you will achieve actually that and maybe you've already achieved the part of it, because somehow you're getting you're on the way to it, and it's really a cool thing to do. So I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you taking the time to come and have a little chat with me. And I will put all the information, I will put your social networks, so that people can go and get to know you a little bit more, and maybe you will come back for another chat on a specific
I would love to.
topic. So I will see how it goes, but so far so good, and I'm really happy that you could make it, and for your insights on your life in Vienna as a foreigner, bringing your personal development, and all the advices you can give to people who are listening to us. So thank you so much, Hawa.
Can I say something, please?
Yeah, sure. You can say anything you want.
No, I would like to thank you. I would like to thank you, Misha, for this great opportunity and this concept that you came up with. I think it's great. And I like this creativity. As you said, it was a very difficult time, like a special time that we are in.
Yeah.
But somehow you came up with this idea, and I think it's great. And I think really that, keep on doing this. And I think it can be a great platform for people to connect and to share their own experiences. And I like the fact that you take people around you to have different insights, and I really like this perspective, and this is great. So thank you for organizing this platform, for having me, and also yes, for bringing out the best of all of us. And I think that we can learn from each other all the time. And I also wanted to tell you that I found that you're looking good. I just wanted to tell you.
Well, I'm good. I had to look good because you're always looking good. So I had to, because we didn't talk about your.
No, because when I came, I was like, oh my God, I wanted just to say that you're looking good.
And we didn't actually talk about your, your other talent that you have. You used to be a model, and you're a very stylish person. So I didn't want to come up here and be like, I had to.
No, Misha, you're looking good. Me, I'm telling you, like looking
you
good.
Too, like you're looking good.
The skin, the skin is glowing. Like the hair is like popping. No, you're good. Just wanted to
your lipstick is popping. And the hair, it's like Tina Turner, it's like...
that there is a guy at work who calls me Tina Turner.
You see, so yeah, he was right to call you that. You really do look good as well. So yeah, and I'm very, very happy. I don't know where this is going to go, but I just felt like, okay, we usually talk to each other, during the pandemic, about anything or nothing, but it's good to to catch up with each other, and if people can listen to us and be inspired in a way or another, I think that's a great thing. And as you said, we are not yet only inspired by celebrities or people who are well known or whatever. You can find it, and I think I read that in one of your interviews. I don't know who you had it with. But you can be inspired by, and you said it before too, you can be inspired by anybody, in little things, I loved it because I read you said someone liked your handwriting, and they felt that they could,
I was so shocked.
Do better. So this is, it's a little thing, but which can be a game changer, and then they will go and learn to write, better or something, or it's it's the little things that that make the bigger ones, if I can say so. So yeah, I'm really, really happy that we could do this today.
Me too.
Yeah, we will continue to catch up on our WhatsApps.
Yes, definitely. The Facebook and everything, like the filters and everything. Yeah.
And then when the pandemic is, I mean, when we can again, we definitely, we have some things in store.
Oh yeah. Vienna, Vienna, Brussels. Anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere. We were supposed to go to. I wanted to go to. What is that?
To Canada?
No, not Canada. Yeah, we were planning.
Yes.
to do that last year, right? But then COVID came, and it was like, no. So we have so many things that we want to do in store, and hopefully we can make it happen sooner than later. Yeah, because I think we are all getting a little bit fed up with this whole thing. But what can we do?
I'm telling you, man, I'm looking for this time. I think that we're all going to be like on I don't know how to tell that. It's going to be like the biggest liberation, after COVID, man. People are going to go nuts. They're going to go gaga, like.
Yeah. Or not. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be, because personally, I'm a little bit scared. I don't know. I think they will put so many restrictions on many things, and things are not really going to be the same. They're going to be so, but well, let's not be, pessimistic. Let's hope for the best. And hopefully life becomes much, much more enjoyable very soon. So
Awesome.
Okay, Hawa, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bisous, bisous, et à très bientôt.
Très bientôt. Allez, merci, Michi.
Ciao.
Bye.